looking at week 13 football IQ and the worst coaches, I'm going to start, and you give me your thoughts too, with what we just talked about, the Florida Ole Miss game. Billy Napier should have been on this list because I'm sure you saw with Ole Miss scrambling and the clock running, he took a timeout on the last drive to save some time for Ole Miss. How do you do that?
How many coaches get that right, Caleb? I mean, and how many get, Les Miles was always the poster child for this. And perhaps because things would work out, his blunders would turn into, to victories. It just through sheer luck and happenstance. But we see this all the time. And you're just like, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That was my reaction too.
And
but I'm glad to see that you're broadening your base here and are willing to point out miscues on the part of coaches who still win a game. They shouldn't get off the hook just because they won the game.
Well, I couldn't ignore that, but Lane Kiffin's on my list too, by the way, because he missed 2 4th-and-1s in the first half because he tried to pull a Les Miles getting a defensive tackle in there to run the ball, and neither one worked.
Well, I don't understand. See, I've watched when Ole Miss goes to its jumbo package, and JJ, how do you pronounce that last name?
Pegways.
Okay. I've seen them convert that time and time again. He always goes right up the middle. Okay, Florida's got a guy that weighs about 800 pounds in the middle. I don't know how that guy gets back and forth off the field. But anyway, so what they did time after time after time was have him go outside the tackle box. And what happened every time? They hit him low. I mean, if you're watching this and what is a coach going to tell you? Hit him low. Just hit him low. Take his legs out from under him. He's a 300-pound guy. He's not an accomplished running back. And again, I couldn't believe it. They just kept doing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was absolutely ridiculous. Another one we're going to go to is I've been making fun of this guy for a long time, and I don't know if you watched it over the weekend. He's your typical run a program well off the field, but doesn't have any brains on the field, and that is Brent Pry at Virginia Tech. He's made our list a lot this year. They were trailing Duke 31-17 over the weekend. In the fourth quarter, they got to the red zone, and it's in the fourth quarter, by the way. On 4th and goal from the 7, he says, let's kick a field goal. Because when you're down by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, you take the points to be still down by 2 scores, right?
Yeah. But he won the game.
No, Duke won, didn't they?
Oh, I'm sorry. See, I'm thinking about the NC State game that I just watched.
Oh, yeah, no. Duke beat Virginia Tech 31-28 because he didn't go for the touchdown there.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a completely different game. I apologize. Yeah.
No, it's fine. All right, another I'm going to move to the Big Ten for a minute, a couple of Big Ten ones that were funny. But did you see PJ Fleck and his creative play calling at the end of the game when Minnesota played Penn State?
No, that's not a game I watched.
So Minnesota was trailing 26-22, and they are driving down the field with a chance to score and win. They're playing at home. It's a tough game. 2nd and goal from the 8, PJ Fleck decides to call a trick play, a screen to an offensive tackle, thrown back to the quarterback that's then thrown for an incomplete pass. Why throw a screen to an offensive tackle? What are you getting out of that?
Yeah, I mean, the guy plays offensive tackle for a reason.
Yes, exactly.
and so, see, what you're telling, I remember this was true because I used to watch the Patriots a lot when they were in their dynasty and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were there. And you could always tell when Bill Belichick thought he had the inferior team. Thought he would use trick plays. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. And to his credit, they probably worked more often than not. He was adept at that. However, you're sending a message to your players too. I mean, if I'm a part of that offense, I'm the quarterback or I'm the running back or I'm a receiver, the message that sends to me is coach doesn't think we're good enough to get it done. So we're going to try throwing the ball to our tackle. Why don't we just throw it to our mascot or one of our cheerleaders? Why are we trying to win this game left-handed, so to speak?
Or in Les Miles' case, though, to your kicker.
Oh, my gosh. I can still see the play. It was a perfectly executed fake, and the kicker's running into the end zone. But how many times will that work? It worked for Les, but not everybody has his,
has his fortune. He made some deal with the
devil. They don't have his 4-leaf clover.
No, they don't. Couple more real quick. So, and by the way, PJ Fleck then settled for a field goal and never got the ball back. So Minnesota lost 26-25.
Yeah.
But
I come to think of it, I saw the replay of that. I did see it. I didn't see it live, but I did saw. Yeah, that. I don't know why these coaches think. So many of them think, well, we're going to get the ball back. Really?
Yeah, exactly. So
go ahead.
This is a depth because it's the 7-year anniversary of when Tennessee tried to hire Greg Schiano, but he cost Rutgers an upset against Illinois over the weekend because it was a case of dumb and dumber, John, because Illinois, it was 4th and 13 from the 40-yard line. Bad weather. They have a good kicker, but Brett Bielema decides to do the aggressive thing of trying a 57-yard field goal. Now, this was a Butch Jones move when Jim McElwain tried it. Greg Schiano burns a timeout. Brett Bielema rethinks his decision in a tie game and decides to go for it, gets the first down. They score a touchdown. They win 38-31. It's a 57-yard field goal. Let them try it. You're going to get the ball back with the game tied because in all likelihood, he's going to miss it.
Was it snowing at the time? Was there rain or just cold?
Just cold, I think.
Yeah.
But either way, you let a college kicker try a 57-yard field goal. Let him do it.
Yeah, in the NFL, 57-yard field goal is no longer that much of a long shot. College, yeah. I mean, I don't think you should take a 40-something yard field goal for granted in college. It's not the NFL. Your kickers, there's a lot going on with kickers. Yeah, I wouldn't. I hate it when teams go out of their way to set up for a 40-something yard field goal. Like they start calling plays to line up for a field goal, and it may be over 40 yards. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, before we get to our last one, I think part of that is coaches want to absolve themselves of any blame of having to call another play that could get them in trouble if they do it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, what do they say afterward? I can't kick it for him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all he does is practice that. He doesn't have to catch the ball. He doesn't have to run with it. He doesn't have to throw it. Just kick it. That's all he has to do. That's what he gets a scholarship for. He does it every day in practice. Can't do it for him. Don't look at me.
Yep, that's exactly why I think they do it. And finally, the one you texted me last week. So I don't know if you guys watched this. Nobody watched this game. It was the toilet bowl of college football because it was the worst team in college football in Kent State versus one of the worst teams in Akron. And I usually wouldn't put this on my game because Akron won 30-17. But at the end of the first half, Akron had no timeouts left. There were 10 seconds. They threw a pass. They were in the red zone. They decided to throw a pass over the middle. And they got tackled. But short of the first down, the clock is running. They're not going to be able to get a field goal, but Kent State's brilliant head coach Kenny Burns calls a timeout to get his defense settled, which allows Akron to kick a field goal to go into halftime. It was the dumbest clock management, John, I think I've ever witnessed.
I can't recall. I've seen a lot of stupid coach tricks, but I can't recall seeing one that blatant. And actually, a friend of mine told me he's seen stuff on speculation on social media, nothing factual, of course, that wondering if Kent State is shaving points.
It looked like that with that. And I mean,
I'll give you another one because I watched most of that game. In the fourth quarter, the ball's around midfield, 4th and 1. It's maybe a 24-point game. The line was 10. Akron, a 2-win Akron team, was still a 2-point favorite on the road against Kent State before its faithful following of about 750 fans. So 4th and 1, it's in the fourth quarter. You're down by 24. You got to go for it. Burns punted.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's got to be shit. He knows
he did. Those were the two most mysterious calls I've ever seen. I've seen all season, both by one coach. And I'd made that on our SEC Unfiltered podcast with Blake Topmeyer. I'd made Kent State my lock of the week. And so I had an interest in it. But the more I watched, I was enthralled with it because it's like listening to a bad musician, a bad singer. Sometimes that can be really entertaining. Even somebody that can't sing, listening to them sing can be entertaining. These teams were so bad, it's entertaining.